All right, welcome back to another episode about the Noah Presgrove case. And today's episode is called The Dark Side of the Netflix Deal. Is Noah Presgrove's death being exploited? So there's a lot of us that think that we had some movie producers and some others that are only interested in this case, to get money and just to make a big deal out of this case, like to try to claim that it's a murder instead of a hit and run, or all this other stuff. There's all these conspiracy theories about that Noah's friends are the very ones to end his life and to do him wrong. And these movie producers have really helped to push that theory. Okay, they did a podcast on the Noah Presgrove case, and then now suddenly they're supposedly getting ready to do a Netflix movie. Okay, who knows if that's going to ever come to fruition, but it's got to be talked about, guys. And we got to dig in and see if we can figure out if the motive for doing the Netflix deal is money, and has money caused a lot of other people to come out of the woodwork. Do they want fame and fortune? And are they trying to get some money for their story? So we're going to dive in and we're going to see. So as we all know, these podcasters took a hiatus on covering the Noah Presgrove case. They did their last episode on the case a few months ago. And I don't really think that was their plan. Okay, who knows if it really was, but for some reason they just stopped covering the case. And a lot of us think, or have heard, that it's because they don't want to ruin their Netflix deal. Because the more information that keeps coming out on this case that kind of debunks the murder theory, and that supports the hit and run theory or the ATV rollover accident theory, that kind of ruins the Netflix deal. Okay? And one of the very, very odd things about this case is that one of the last videos that these guys did, they supposedly went to Oklahoma to meet with the family and to talk to them about the case, and there was like this big hoopla going on where they were talking about in the groups, hey guys, if y'all see a bunch of cameras in town over the next few weeks or few days or whatever, don't be alarmed. It's these movie producers that are filming a documentary. Okay, but one of the crazy things that came out of that is that supposedly these movie producers got a lot of the friends and family of Noah Presgrove to sign an NDA, okay? And I think the private investigator was involved in this too, and I mean, who knows who all is involved in signing this thing, but basically these guys can no longer speak to anyone about the case except for the movie producers, because now they have exclusive rights for everything that they know about the case. They can only tell it to these movie producers. Okay, that's my understanding. If I'm wrong, then correct me. But why else would you sign an NDA? Okay, but I do know that there was this other movie producer. His name is Terry Feely, and he contacted me because whatever in the hell reason, he claims that everyone else that he talked to, and he talked to 50, 60 people, that are covering the case or that are interested in the case via, through the family, friends, or in the Facebook groups. And he claims that every freaking one of them kept telling him, "Oh, you got to talk to Travis. You have to, about the case." So I don't really know what that was all about, guys. I kind of do consider myself an expert on the case, but there are things I don't know, because there's things that can't be shared and won't be shared, as you can see with this NDA here. I think if you look at the nuts and bolts of the case, I am one of the experts that understands the case inside and out. I've looked at it from an unbiased, viewpoint. And this guy wanted to contact me because supposedly I'm one of the few in the case who are unbiased, and I'm not afraid to speak the truth about the case. So anyways, my point is he contacted me, and he said he contacted a lot of others, and nobody would speak to him, or very few would speak to him. And the few that did, they didn't know a lot about the case. The ones who know a lot about the case, they all sign NDAs. Okay? So it's very interesting that we have this NDA agreement going on with these movie producers from California. They have that in place, and I think it's really stalled the case, stalled the investigation. A lot of people aren't talking in public, which is crazy. So that leads me to this next part. These are all of the people that were at the party. I mean, this is most of them. There's more, but there's a lot of discrepancies and rumors about who was and who wasn't. But, of course, we have Avery. We have Isaac Rojas. We have Breland Sweat. You have Jack and Carter. Jasmine. Okay, that's everyone that I got pictured here. Okay, but supposedly there was Mikey, and there Breeley, Georgia, Logan. There's several that don't have pictures here, but my point is there's a lot of people that were at this party that haven't been willing to speak publicly about the case. Okay, we don't have written interviews. They haven't went on podcasts to give their statements, to do interviews. It's all kind of underground. Everything. Out of sight, out of mind. And it makes you wonder why. Why are these guys so afraid to speak? Kathy Bingham said she had problems getting these kids to speak to her. Why? She claims that law enforcement told some of them not to speak to her. Why would that be? As far as I'm concerned, it seems like the investigation is at a standstill. It seems like the people who can be charged with social hosting, it seems like they're just doing a lot of stalling so that those social host charges don't ever come to fruition. And from everything I'm seeing, that's just a 2-year statute of limitations, which a year and 2 months of that's already gone. So you got 10 months left if you're going to do a social host charge. So there's a lot of stalling going on, and which leads me to my next point, is that's why it's very, very important. In my last video, where I was trying to connect the dots of if Warlock Wrath is George Chodan. Guys, I don't know if he is or not. I just pointed out that it's highly likely based on the way that they both type. Okay? But the point is, whether I'm right or wrong, the point of that is there's a lot of distractions and misinformation going on in the case that have helped to stall the social hosting charges. The more distractions, the more BS, the more garbage, the more rumors that are started, that helps to stall the case. Because I've said it in some of my other podcasts that these party hosts can't be charged per their lawyers when we don't even know Noah's cause of death? Okay, yeah, it was made to look like a hit and run, or it could be a hit and run, but we have no vehicle that hit him. Okay, there's no suspects. There's just a bunch of googly garbage going on. You know, there's a kid that thinks he hit a pig, might have hit Noah, then later said no, he did hit a pig. It was 3 miles down the road, and checked his live 360, and when he went through there 10 minutes earlier, Noah's body wasn't there. I mean, there's all these rumors and crap going on, dude. But the thing is that helps the Netflix deal. All these rumors, you know, everyone keeping their mouth shut makes it more mysterious. Okay, opens up the possibility of murder instead of a simple hit and run. You know, that's what drives the Netflix deal. You know, these Netflix movie producers, they're ready to cash in. Okay, but anyways, that leads me to the next part: is why was Kaden Pressy the only one who was willing to come forward? Okay, why did he release this written statement? This is his first statement he ever released. I think it was May 23rd of this year. Why did he wait so long? You know, Noah died in September 2023. So he waited 8 months to release this statement on Facebook. Okay? And ironically, not long after he released this statement is when these podcasters started their podcast on Noah Presgrove. Okay? And guess who was one of their guests on one of the very first few episodes? Yep, Kaden Pressy. Okay? So why is Kaden so eager and willing to put out his statement? Okay. Then we find that he went to OHP himself and did this 2-hour interview with them where he recorded it, and it was leaked by whoever, but it ended up in my hands. So yes, I posted it on YouTube because it needed to be posted, because his interview that he did here with OHP is very, very different with the 2-part interview that he did on the podcast that everybody knows about, that is ran by the movie producers. Okay, lots of discrepancies, a lot of differences, a lot of stuff left out on the ones that he did with the movie producers. Okay, so why is that? Okay, like I say, why is he one of the only ones who was willing to do all this? You know, the police didn't seek him out. They didn't ask him to go up there. And how come the police didn't know about Kaden being at the party from day one? Okay, that's another crazy thing. But when he comes forward on May 23rd, now the police know all about him. Okay, and then with this upcoming podcast that these movie producers are doing on the case, and with him going to be a guest on the show, he knew that he needed to go to OHP and lay it all out on the line and tell everything. Okay, so the question is, why didn't all of these guys do the same thing? Okay, where's their statements? Why didn't they go to OHP and record themselves so that they'd have it as backup for whatever reason Kaden wanted it? You know, I'm sure they did interviews. You know, whichever one of them that police knew was at the party, because from what I'm hearing, you know, did police know that Isaac was there? Did police even know that Breland was there? You know, did police even know that Breely in Georgia was there? You know, they knew that a lot of these others were there. You know, because they lived there at the house, and Jack's dating Carter. You know, so of course they know that those guys were there. But like half of the party goers, police didn't even know they were there. So just very, very, very odd. Then Kaden comes out with his statements, okay? And it just makes you wonder why. What is the reason? What was his motivation? What was he looking for when he did all this? Okay, so you gotta wonder, did Kaden do all this because he was seeking attention? Okay, some individuals may be drawn to the notoriety and media attention associated with high-profile cases. Okay, in the beginning, the Noah Presgrove case was not that big. It didn't have that much media attention. It was just localized to Oklahoma. Then the internet took over, and it started getting national attention. People magazine, the Daily Mail, it was just all over YouTube, all over the TV. It just blew up. Okay? So about the time that it blew up, Kaden comes along to release his statement. So it makes you wonder, is Kaden's statement real? Or is it fabricated? Or, like I say, is it real, but he just didn't think that he had any reason to tell his side of the story until the case blew up? Was he seeking attention? Did he hear about the movie producers coming to town to cover the case, and they were talking about a potential Netflix deal in the future? Was Kaden wanting a piece of this? Is that what's going on? Next, we have mental illness as a reason that people do this. People with certain mental health conditions may have delusions or beliefs that lead them to believe they are involved in the case or have special knowledge about a case. Okay? There's many reasons people insert themselves into cases. Okay? And a lot of us have questioned Kaden's mental capacity, because you can clearly hear on his interview with OHP, you hear several different very weird things. Okay? Like, Kaden didn't even remember when he graduated. Okay? Then there were several instances where the cop had to basically replay back some of the things that Kaden had told them to make it make logical sense to Kaden. Okay? Because I don't think Kaden realized that some of the stuff he was saying wasn't making sense to the cops. So they had to replay it all back to him and ask him, hey, now do you kind of see how a lot of this doesn't make sense, and while we're doubting it, So is there something going on with Kaden's mental capacity there? And guys, it's not a bash on anybody. It may be just that he's young, and maybe he was nervous. But it's got to be, the question's got to be asked, okay? Next, we have personal connection. In some cases, individuals may have a personal connection to the victim, the accused, or the case itself, leading them to become involved. So is this why Kaden inserted himself into the case 8 months later? He was in hiding for 8 months. No one knew who he was. And then he inserts himself into the case. Okay? Yes, he admitted that he was friends with Noah, but they weren't really best friends. Okay? But he did have a personal connection here. Okay? And when it says, do they have a connection to the accused? Yes. A lot of people are accusing Jack and Avery and the party house owners of being liable for social hosting. So yes, he has a connection to them too. So is what he's doing, is it to help Noah, or is it to help the party house owners? That's what we really got to look into. Okay, who is he really trying to help here? Okay? Which is at least the last question, the desire to help. Some people may genuinely believe they can help solve the case or provide information that could be useful to investigators. So this case was at a standstill. Okay? Kathy Bingham was very frustrated that a lot of the kids wouldn't talk to her. So maybe Kaden thought that he could just come forward and give his side of the story, and maybe this would help. Okay? But I think after he gave his statement, all it really did was leave more doubt in everyone's minds. Okay? Because the statement that he gave on Facebook, it made it seem like he's just really wanting to stand up for Noah, because people were saying things that weren't true. And then when he did his interview on the podcast with the movie producers, okay, that kind of gave everyone some doubt that maybe there was something more, because Kaden said it several times, this was not a hit and run. Okay, and then he did his interview with OHP that we weren't supposed to hear, and he was talking about that, you know, there was some wrestling going on, and maybe somebody hit him in the head with the golf club, and maybe there was an ATV rollover, you know, so that really added some doubt to everything. But the strange thing is that he was asking if the FBI was involved. Okay, so that made a lot of us wonder, was Kaden scared of something? Okay, because keep in mind, this interview with OHP, that wasn't supposed to be made public. We weren't supposed to hear that. So that one was more like real. Like, we got to hear the real side of Kaden's story and his statement, and he was actually asking questions, you know. Is the FBI involved? So that one doesn't seem as made for TV or made for movies as much as the statement that he gave on the podcast. Okay, so I think that you guys can understand where I'm going here. Was Kaden's motive for doing the podcast that everyone heard, was that so he could insert himself into the investigation, and so in hopes of maybe getting on Netflix? I mean, guys, that's a big deal for a young kid who hasn't had a lot of fame and probably not a lot of notoriety. Okay, I don't know if he was popular in high school or not. You know, probably not, because the average person isn't. Okay, this is a big deal. For the opportunity, or for just even the chance to be in a Netflix show, that's a big deal to a kid, guys. Huge. Someone like me, I wouldn't want to be in it. Okay? When that guy Terry Feely contacted me, I was like, no, I don't want to be in no damn movie. I mean, that's because that's like the wrong kind of attention. Guys, I'm an adult, you know. I don't want my character defamed, and, you know, and all that. You know, although some people have done it to me anyway, but it's not what I seek. I don't want to be in a Netflix movie, you know, just because I have a different viewpoint on a case, you know, a different view than most of the people who think that it was a murder, and I don't think it was a murder. I think that it was a hit and run, and the crime was that they dumped the body. Okay, that's what I think. But I am open to all possibilities. Okay, but I'm going to end this here, guys, and I want you guys to leave some comments. And I know it's going to be controversial because y'all all love Kaden, and guys, I get it. He's the only one who's came forward. Okay, none of these other people came forward. They're all silent, and they talk to the cops, but that's it. They think they've all been cleared, and they don't owe us anything. And then Kaden comes along, and he releases his statements, and now everybody loves him. Okay? But I need you to really, really dig in and think, what was his real motive for doing this? Okay? Was he seeking attention? Was he hoping to get on a movie? And is he hoping that he can be rewarded financially or something? That's the whole thing right there, guys. So, let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you later.